Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about Route Finder, which is a tool allowing you to optimize your income in the game by doing cargo run. So when you arrive this page for the first time, first thing you might want to try is just clicking the button, and it will automatically propose you some routes, starting from Port Olisar to Coudray-Or, then to Port Olisar, and then to Crusader L1. And so you buy and sell medical supply, you buy and sell Agricium, and you buy and sell medical supply here. But those results are based from this form here, which probably doesn't suit you. So I'm gonna go into details one after the other. So the first one is your starting point. So here it states that you are at Port Olisar at the moment, but maybe it's not the case. So let's select another one. Let's say you are at, I don't know, Levski, for instance. Okay. And cycle, this says, okay, do you want to start at Levski and as well end at Levski? So if you want to do so, you just select yes, but if you don't really care where to end, select no. It's going to propose to you much more, more obviously, possible routes if you select no. Armistice zone is basically, do you care or not about only go to places where there is an armistice zone. I like this option a lot because if you don't want to, if you care about pirate a lot, it could be a pretty good way to avoid seeing your ship being destroyed after place a lot of cargo in your ship. I know it's not 100% secure, but it's much more secure. Obviously, this armistice zone, for instance, is not going to propose you any jump town route by selecting yes here. Avoid. So here's the location you want to avoid. You can select some. Okay, you can, same as before. For instance, if you want to avoid that, you can do so, and as well if you want to avoid that, you can just click on that, and now you have 6 items selected here. So it's basically just not going to propose you any routes that goes into those selected location. Ship, very important. Of course, you need to select your ship. You don't have to, because if you don't do, it's gonna only take into account those 600 units that are set by default. But it's much more better to select your ship because, for instance, if you select, let's say the Caterpillar, I know that you cannot go to Levski with your Caterpillar, for instance. So it's much more better to select your ship, and it's going to avoid the location where you cannot land with your ship. So let's say you have Freelancer Max, 120 SCU, and the number of units, which is multiplied by 100, is automatically set here. You can still play with it, but most of the time you don't have to do so. Money is how much money you want to invest in the game. So it's not really the money you have, but the money you want to invest. I really suggest by default not to invest too much. Here it's stating 50%, so of course it's going to depend on how much you have. Obviously, if you have 20,000, well, it's probably better to invest only 10,000, right? But if you have a million, for instance, well, maybe you can invest 800,000. You don't care. So it really depends on you, but I'm just saying, all right, don't put all your money into one run. Doesn't make any sense. Or you're gonna cry, most likely. Next one is the number of runs you want to do. So it's gonna, for instance, here 3 was selected, so it proposes you 3 runs one after the other, but you can select up to 5. Of course, depending on the criteria, it's going to take less or much time. Here for 3, it's not so much, but the more run you had and the more time consuming the script is going to take for proposing all these solutions and so all the possibilities. but shouldn't be more than a minute with 5 and nothing selected. Vice here is basically it's the only way to select what type of cargo you're ready to work with, and the only question I think it's relevant at the moment is, do you want to do vice or not, or do you want to do drugs or not? That's why it's only limited to that, and that's why you don't have to select every little cargo manually. I mean, I could have done so, but I don't think it's really relevant. Let me know what you think, honestly, but I think it's fine like that. So no means everything but stims, spirits, and drugs. Plus stims plus spirits, it's everything but drugs. Okay, and here it's like everything. So let's say everything but drugs here for this example. And the last one is sorts. It's how much, how the data is going to be sorted out. By default, it's profits over time. It means that it was the case here, for instance. Here you have before 1896 and after 1926. So you gain more here, but over time it's better to do that. Probably here because depending on how much time you're going to spend on the outpost or traveling or so on. Because the tool is taking into account the time you spent into the outpost, buying stuff or selling stuff. And for instance, you know that when you buy drugs, and it's the case if I do so and I find routes, when you buy drugs, you're going to be limited to a number of amounts of units you can buy per minute or 2 minutes. And the same thing when you want to sell it. And well, this takes into account that if you buy too much, you're going to spend much more time selling that. So maybe it's not that efficient than another stuff. When you select benefit only, it doesn't take any kind of time into account. So just sorted by amount of money. And here, for instance, do we have an example? Probably we do, yeah. Here and here. So we can go into detail, but I don't want to do that. But this is kind of working. I spent some time making it work. Now maybe the data are not accurate enough, but this is going to be the second part of the video. So here, what you want to do after you've selected your route, so you say, okay, I want to do this one, for instance. So you press start. It's going to remove the part on the right. So you can cancel. So after selecting, clicking on start, it's going to tell you, okay, the first thing you're going to do is go from left key, buy some iodine, and go to Yela at Dekins and sell it for 600 AUSC. After you've done that, you need to press the done button. Automatically, it's going to switch you from this new place because right now you are at Dekins and you won 600 because this is what you want from this run. And here, so same thing again, you press done and automatically it's going to add everything. You can undo if, you haven't done that or you just want to try. You can undo, and when everything has been done, you can click find route again. So you are at Dekins here because this was the last area you were. You press find route again and wait for the results to come. As you have more money, as you are into a different location, results are going to be different. So that's basically how this form works. Now, if you realize that, for instance, the data for buying here is not accurate enough, what you might want to do is to click on the button. So it's you want to buy some medical supply at Dekins, and you realize that it's not 17 the price that it's displayed on the console, but something different. Let's say it's 16.8 per unit. Remember, just 100 units equal 1 SCU. And by doing so, you're going to create a report. So it's not going to be updated automatically, but someone's going to look after that, see if it makes sense, if it's correct, and how how you can do that by just selecting screenshots. What you want to do when you're in front of the console is press the print screen button from the keyboard, and as it generates a screenshot from the screenshots folder into Star Citizen folder, you can just select the screenshots as an evidence, and so up to 6 screenshots, but usually 1 is enough. And then you press upload and submit. And you're gonna get access to a specific link where you can track where is your report's status at the moment. So you see it's open, so it has not been taken into account. So the price is not yet changed into the price list. And you can do that for everything here, so as well for selling, same thing. Something else you might want to do is you realize that there is a limitation for buying or selling. Here it's on selling this commodity here. So what you want to do, instead of changing the unit price, you just want to change the limitation. By default, there is no limitation. So you say, okay, we cannot sell everything at once. I can sell it. So this is number of units, not SCU, okay, units. So just to remember, 100 units equal 1 SCU. So let's say you are able to sell 100 units every minute, every 60 seconds. You need to select a screenshot for now. I'm not sure this is really relevant, but you can show in your screenshots that you cannot buy everything at once, that you have this undefined error that pops out into the console. So you might want to select the screenshots from console here. Let's select the same, doesn't matter, to be honest. And you do the same thing, and you're going to have access to another report and stating what you've asked and what is the status at the moment. That's it for the report. Something else you want to do, you want to check the price list here. So here it's all the prices available right now in the systems. The one in green background or red background are the one without any limitation, so always none in the limitation. The one with dark background is basically for telling you that there is a limitation. And here, for instance, you cannot sell in this area, so this is Levski. You cannot sell more than 1,000 units every 60 seconds, for instance. This is what the system is taking into account right now. Maybe it's not accurate enough. It's the intel I got. And I know anyway that this whole sheet is not accurate enough. They're missing some elements. Limitation is not set clearly because widow is not the only element having a limitation on buying or selling. But that's why I will need you guys. So for doing so, you don't need any account. And you will never need any account. Maybe in the future I will add an account system for probably tracking the ships you own, or I don't know, any other stuff, or for if you want to be a moderator. Right now it's only going to be me that's going to check the prices, but probably in the future I'm going to add moderators into the system for helping me out. Especially I'm in France, so just for the time zone purposes, it will make sense to be several doing so. What else? Yes, on Route everything you change, okay, is automatically added into a small cookie with all the options. So in the future, I'm going to add some cookie disclaimer, but it's the only thing I keep in the cookie right now is those form data, which is not really kind of a privacy thing, I guess, but I will anyway add a disclaimer, I promise. So that means that if you refresh the page, it's kept. So if you select yes and you press F5, yes, it's going to be kept. If you find a route and you just hold on a second, you press start and you click done once, then you press F5, it's gonna kept all this area here, and then you still be able to make a different route. Okay, I think this is it for the moment, so feel free to provide me any kind of feedback. I will really appreciate that on stuff that is not looking good, stuff which are looking good as well. Nice, neat to hear about that, because I really tried to make this form as straightforward as possible and easy to play with, to use it. I'm aware about Versemate, of course. It was a website I was using, but it was, I mean, the main reason why I decided to create it my own, it's because it was kind of really tricky to use it. You needed an account for reporting, for using it. It didn't keep your current form, and there's many. It's not that fast too. It was a lot of work doing so. I'm sure for Versemate, but I really hope I bring some addition comparing to Versemate. So let me know what you guys think. You can comment on this video here below. I'll try to answer it as fast as I can. And as well, I'm probably gonna add into the description the link to the Reddit post where you're probably coming from at the moment. So hope you guys like it, and let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.